Familiarity blocks comprehension. Before you even know it, it blocks essential human rights. It's the beginning of a quiet but steady AI takeover into our societies. Artificial intelligence was made essentially to support our everyday lives, enhance our work speed, increase work efficiency, and I think everybody here thinks AI as that. I doubt no one in this room knows or actively doesn't recognizes artificial intelligence in their lives. And I'm also an active user. I would scroll on my bed, scrolling through AI-generated images, AI-generated videos. I'd have a laugh, send them to my friends, and chuckle about it, because it felt harmless. I also use chat-based AI in order to answer short questions, get some advice, and do things I probably should have done myself. It was entertaining. It was way too convenient. But at some point, my feelings about that changed. This talk is not here to talk to you about how bad AI is or how you shouldn't use it. AI is a wonderful tool for everybody here to use. Students, business people, even doing daily chores. It's still useful in some way. My point of concern is the extent of where AI controls our lives. My father, being a sincere yet serious man he is, in a dinner table, he once told me, in a constitutional nation that we live in, law is the cornerstone of human judgment, and the loss of that connection and that control isn't just us using something for convenience, but it is something that changes not just our present, but our future, our lives, and how we shape them. The scary part is that this change doesn't happen in a matter of fact. It happens through a cumulative time period where we don't agree on a single moment where we want to access and accept such matters. And that, I want to show you the difference between human judgment and its calculations. Artificial intelligence seems like a useful tool. It's quick, it's efficient, it doesn't get tired, distracted. It seems like a positive alternative to us. But it lacks a crucial moment, because not all decisions are technical. It is also ethical, and without that presence, what is AI in such realms? When I'm talking to you about such implications, I want you to think about if something that is logically correct is morally right. Let me give you an example. Imagine a man that is in a courtroom. He's about to have the most life-changing decision ever, whether if he goes out without any problems or if he has been sentenced to years of prison. However, there are no judges, there are no lawyers, and no one to defend him that's present. What he sees with his eyes is an AI model. An AI model does not feel empathy. It assesses purely out of data and with risks. And with his risk score reaching a specific level, it does not consider any context. It purely works on the statistics. What the AI doesn't know is that he's the only carer for his young sibling, and that for once, he's actively trying to change. And this I want to highlight is the difference between, again, human judgment and mechanical calculation. This isn't just a hypothetical statement or situation that I pulled up from my head. In 2016, a man named Eric Loomers was sentenced or was in court for eluding police. The judge of the Wisconsin courtroom had used a specific AI algorithmic risk assessment called Compass. And that had used specific data talking about how much of a risk he stands to our society. It didn't acknowledge any circumstances, it didn't acknowledge any context, nor did it acknowledge the reasoning behind what actually he had done. And Eric, he couldn't question the conclusion. He couldn't know what brought that conclusion because the company described it as a trading secret. And so even after months of challenging, appealing to the Wisconsin Supreme Court, he lost. What did that cost him? 6 years in prison. And this is the difference between having empathy and losing our main control to artificial intelligence. I want to bring you to think about it. What makes us human? I think the main point that makes us truly human is the fact that we account for ourselves and that we control and we decide our own futures. And this difference, or the loss of control we're having from a most human domain to something that merges mechanical calculations into our specific decision making, I want you to think about how devastating it could be. Not just in specifically making decisions, but there is an AI lawyer called Ross that supports human lawyers in researching and planning for their upcoming trials. Although this isn't necessarily a full transition from human-controlled realms to AI-controlled, it shows from the emergence of AI 6, 7, or 8 years ago to now, it shows how much of a change we have made. Is it positive? I'm not really sure. But what I know for certain is we never saw it coming. Who knew 6 years ago that we would have artificial intelligence in a courtroom? As a matter of fact, a vast array of US jurisdictions uses some sort of AI or algorithmic risk assessing tools to support their sentencing decisions. And more than half of US courts implement them and use them actively for decision making. And so, if what we truly believe as human is getting stripped away by artificial intelligence, what kind of change can we make? What kind of decisions are we prone to make when what we see and what we account for is nothing but an AI model? So I want to ask you some dangerous but a crucial question. Would you want to live in a society where us humans get to account and get to challenge our own decisions, where although we have hesitations, although we're slower, we have that sense of emotional connection and understanding of human complexity? Or would you want to live in a somewhat of a cold world where our loss of control is shown directly through the realm of artificial intelligence taking over the law? I'm not telling you, again, to just never use AI again or to completely boycott it. I'm telling you to keep questioning it. Because law was always ours. accounted by us, challenged by us, and made by us. But when that formula becomes something nobody could question, we lose our very essence of being human. And the change, we'll never see it happening. We never do. Thank you.